What's up, guys? It's your boy Dekkster here, and we got 3 new cards that have been revealed that I haven't covered, so I'm going to go over those. And also really quickly, I don't think I mentioned it in the last video, there will be some pre-purchase bundles here. We have the Challengers bundle, which is 17 packs for 20 bucks, plus you get a card back, and then the Rastakhan's Rumble, where you get 50 packs for $50, plus you get King Rastakhan. And then you also have until December 4th to buy these, so I guess decide if you want to buy these or not. But anyways, let's get to the new cards, starting with Heavy Metal, which is a 6-mana warrior spell. So this thing is pretty much going to do what Yip does. It's going to summon a random minion with cost equal to your armor with a maximum of 10. So if you have 1 armor and you play this thing, you're gonna get a random 1-drop. If you play this with 0 mana, you're gonna get like a Snow Flipper Penguin or a Wisp. So I think the first thing you think of when you see this card is, of course, Scalper. Yeah, an 8-mana 4/8, which doesn't even see much play right now, that does this effect at the end of every turn. Now I think the main reason we're not seeing Scalper Yip is because there's no real even warrior or normal warrior out there. It's just odd warrior, and I'm hoping with this expansion, maybe there's going to be, a new archetype that emerges, be it, I don't know, even, or just recruit gets stronger, or just there's a control warrior, or just not odd warrior. I think Yip might be played. Yip is seen in recruit, and I've actually seen an even list a while back that was running this. And if Yip is played, would you also want to run Heavy Metal? I mean, maybe this has an advantage of being 6 mana as opposed to Yip being 8. You can combo with, I don't know, a shield block, maybe even like a crystallizer, and then you can summon a pretty decent minion and kind of get good value for this 6 mana. But I don't know. I feel like it's not like play this or Yip. I think maybe if you're playing Yip in a deck, you might also play this in addition to. I don't think it's one or the other. I think in recruit, Yip can have a downfall where you pull him out and you don't have any armor, so Yip just doesn't get that value. So yeah, speaking of recruit, this also has a lot of similarities to Gather Your Party. If you're playing recruit, Gather Your Party's usually gonna pull a big minion, maybe something costing around 8 to 10 mana. Although Heavy Metal doesn't have the requirement that your deck only has big minions. So maybe it's a little better than Gather Your Party. I don't know, it's very different. Gather Your Party's better if your deck is strictly big minions, and then this is kind of similar to Gather Your Party, although you can play cheaper minions as well, like the Dry Whisker armor and all that. You can combo that with this. But if we're just looking at the current meta or our current card collections available to us, I don't think this thing's gonna see much play. I do think we're gonna need to see more support, see the rest of the warrior collection or the neutral collection in order to make a call on this thing. As of right now, seems unplayable, but seeing that Blizzard will try and make good warrior archetypes aside from odd warrior, I can see this thing seeing some play. All right, so we have Ticket Scalper here, a 4-mana 5/3 neutral pirate with overkill, draw 2 cards. Now this overkill is really strong if you can manage to pull it off, but the hard part would just be pulling it off. It just doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. If this dies during your opponent's turn, like you play this on 4 and then they just manage to kill it, overkill does not trigger if it's your opponent's turn. And this thing is 3 health. I mean, there's a lot of things that kill this. So in that sense, it might be really bad. But if you can manage to pull this thing off, you slime it down, your opponent doesn't deal with it. If you can draw 2 cards with it, that's great. You can draw 4 cards, that's insane. But honestly, aside from the pirate tag here, I think I'd rather be playing something like an Elven Minstrel. By the way, if this thing attacks something, I don't know, let's say it attacks a 4/4 minion, the overkill will trigger even if this thing dies. It just has to be your turn and you smack something that has 4 or less health in this situation. So yeah, just because overkill can't trigger when it's your opponent's turn, I think that makes this card pretty bad. If it did trigger on your opponent's turn, this card would be pretty good. Maybe putting this with a rush card, like a rush combo would be great, whether that be Houndmaster Shaw or maybe like Rocket Boots would be good. I don't think you'd want to do like Goblin Prank with this. It's just the 2-card combo Goblin Prank and then it's going to die at the end of the turn. Just doesn't seem worth. I don't know, maybe throwing this in an even Paladin can give you that much needed draw. Maybe this and then throwing a couple bells on it keeps it around. Maybe throwing a Divine Shield on it and then, just keeping this thing around. It seems like something you can do with Pally. So maybe it sees some play there. I don't know if Pirate is going to be a Pally thing, if it's just going to be like a Rogue Warrior thing. But I don't know. Like on the other hand, Pally has so many other things they could be doing for 4 mana. And then next up we have Time Out, a 3-mana Paladin spell, which makes your hero immune until your next turn. Now this does seem pretty pretty good. And of course there's Ice Block, which people always compare this thing to. And you know, Ice Block was so strong, it got rotated to the Hall of Fame. But you know, Ice Block may have been a little bit better because if your hero took fatal damage, it would finally proc the Ice Block. So you can play it turns far, far ahead from when it actually triggered, whereas opposed to this happens as soon as you play it. Now there are some pros and cons, you know, comparing this to Ice Block. Maybe you want the immunity this turn. Maybe you see your opponent has a huge board and you just want to slam this thing down, and who knows, maybe you prevent 20 damage, 15 damage or something like that. Also somewhat comparable to, I guess, Frost Nova, which would just freeze your opponent's board. Of course, it wouldn't freeze their face or anything like that. And they could silence their own minions so they could smack you in the face. So maybe it's a little bit better than a Frost Nova. Also, very similar to the Rogue Secret Evasion, where after your hero takes damage, you become immune for the rest of the turn. So I think I like this a little bit more than Evasion. I like it a little more than Frost Nova, but I feel like it might not be as good as Ice Block. But I don't know, I'm starting to think, like the more I think about it, it might be like just below. Ice Block was very frustrating. But with this thing, maybe it has some Shirvala synergy. Maybe you just stall a turn, you stall another turn, which also kind of lowers the cost of your Shirvala, so there's some synergy there. Maybe you have Pyro Equality in your hand and your opponent has a huge board, but you just don't want to use your Pyro Equality yet. You know, maybe you want them to play that extra minion, them to overextend. Maybe you just time out, and then next turn maybe you time out again, and then they put all their cards on the board, and then you hit them with a Pyro Equality or an Equality Consecrate, whatever it happens to be, getting a huge board clear. Like, that would be great. So I do feel like if Control Paladin is a thing, I feel like this is going to be a 2 of. I don't see why you wouldn't want to play this. Just stalling out is amazing. Maybe you're playing an OTK Paladin and you just really need to be able to stall out so you can, you know, complete your combo, bounce your dudes back and all that. Another good thing to take in consideration is that your hero is immune. So maybe if you have a weapon equipped, you can smack a minion and you're not going to take damage. Maybe you have Valinor equipped and your opponent played a Lich King or something huge and you need to smack it, you need to clear it, but you can't take that 8 to the face. Maybe you just use this just to block a little bit of damage. I think this thing's going to be really good. Just the fact that Paladin has a ton of stalling tools now. You can do a Shrink Ray. Once again, the equality combos with Consecration, with Pyro, maybe even Avenging Wrath. This thing seems great. Of course, you're not going to want to play it in something like Odd Paladin, and obviously it won't work in Even. So this is going to be more of a control tool. And I do enjoy control pallies, so this should be interesting. This should be good. I don't know, like honestly, this card might end up being really, really degenerate. Just the fact that it stalls out and your opponent can't do anything for a whole turn, except maybe play more minions, which plays into your mass removal, which Paladin has. I don't know, it's a really strong one. So yeah, that's about it. Just covered the 3 cards really briefly. Stay tuned afterwards. I'll do my quick out of 5 ratings. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to follow my Twitch. Stream Monday through Friday. And yeah, the expansion's looking pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to see the new cards. And of course, I'll be reviewing those as well. All right, guys, good luck on ladder. Stay hydrated, and we'll see you next time.